Oh gosh. Hey guys. So sorry. I had a lighting issue and I think I still have it, but it's a lot better. Shout out to Mama Star. She was able to fix the situation so I can be here with you guys today because if this didn't work, I don't know. How are you guys doing? Thank you for joining me for such a late Bachelorette. I'm sorry. But you guys know what I'm out here doing. So I didn't want to like make a schedule or a time, and I know that I couldn't keep it just because it's been a good journey, but it's just been a lot. It's been a lot of work. But hopefully by the end of this week we'll have some good news, and it'll be smooth sailing from there on. How are you guys doing? How are you guys doing? Also, I just got some tea presented to me, and I apologize if you sent me something on Instagram. I have not been keeping up with anything, to be quite honest with you. Like, guys, my days for this week have been consisted of house hunting, eating, and sleeping. That's it. Like, it's especially when house hunting is very difficult, especially when you're not from an area. So I spent more time in the car trying to find locations than I did actually viewing properties. So that's been fun. But I just have not been up on anything because, like, as soon as I get home, I eat and I go to sleep because I'm so exhausted from looking at properties all day. But hopefully, fingers crossed, prayers up by the end of this week. I'll know what I'll be doing. So that's good. Glad that's coming to an end. Oh gosh, a house hunting in an area that has so much land is consuming. I'm an East Coaster. I'm also a city girl. So I'm just used to stuff not being so far. Oh gosh, I will say that I am not used to being in a place that has all this land. It is mind-boggling for somebody like me. Um, but how are you guys? How are you guys doing? Let's get into that. Let me check in with you guys for about 7 or so minutes, and then we will get started. I do want to show you guys something first, but I don't know if they're going to let me load it. So, you know how this thing does me. Yeah, oh, hold on. Yeah, they don't let me load it. They won't let me load it. Let me see if I can do it this way. Hold on. Oh, let me see. Yeah, that's going to take a second. Okay, so I'm loading something for you. It's going to take a second, but while that's loading, let me talk to my family. So Steph. So thank you, so Steph, for the super chat. I've missed you too. I've missed my lighting. This is, oh, child. I look a lot better than this, but it is what it is. Like my face is white. It's because of my light. My light is white. I should have got a Oh, you know what? No, we'll just keep that. I should have got a orange one. But thank you, so Steph. Thank you for the super chat. Hey, Kendall. Kendall said, "Yay, catching a live for the first time in forever." Glad that you're here, Kendall. Glad that you are here. Oh, that's Allison said. "Oh my goodness, I took the afternoon off and it's the best day to catch my first live with y'all." It really is. It really is. Thank you so much. Shout out to Tracy. Tracy said, "Star Family, please like, comment, subscribe, and share because you're here and hit that notification." Thank you all so much for joining me at the last minute's notice and being so patient with me. I honestly appreciate it. I promise you I will get settled at some point. This just is, this is going to take up a lot of my time, but when we're settled, baby, get ready. Dr. M said, "Can someone please explain why Jada Pinkett Smith is always in the media talking about her marriage? I'm over it." Honestly, Dr. M, it's a part of her show. You know what I mean? When you become a talk show host, you have to be open and vulnerable about what you are dealing with. And, I think it's a way to present yourself as relatable. That's what it is. And as a talk show host, this is, it's a part of the job. It's a part of the job. Christina, let's just talk about it right now. Christina said, I'm eager to hear Nikki talk about the light skin comment Michelle made. I'm light skinned and I don't think people have cared one way or the other about who I was out on a date with. What I believe Michelle was trying to say was every black man that I am seeing or every brown person that I am seen with, I am not dating. I could be with a white guy and I could be dating him. So I think she probably said that because Jamie in his lies was probably making the white guys feel like they are not her type because, there's a lot of light-skinned biracial black men there. There's also, this rumor that Jamie spread that she was seen dating a light-skinned black male who could possibly be Joe. So I think she was saying that to make the guys who are not, black or biracial feel like they still have a shot with her because maybe that was something that came up as well and we didn't see. A lot of stuff we did not see. That scene was a bit choppy, so there was probably a lot of conversation that went on. I think some men probably said something, but we didn't get any guys saying anything. But I think that's what it is, and it happens all the time with black women specifically, or women of color. If I could speak for you guys, where it's like if you're seen with somebody who is like of the same skin tone or culture, it's like, oh, that's her husband and she's dating that guy. It's like, no, that's my cousin. No, that's my cousin. I'm actually married to the Korean dude over there. Like, we do have options. So I think she was trying to say it like that, but she could be saying something else, but that's what I took from it. Speaking of Korean guys, there is, I forget his name, but he was the dad in the Train to Busan. Or Busan, I don't know if I'm saying it right. He was also the guy that was slapping people in Squid Games. I got a little crush. He's hot. He's hot. I'm into it. But yeah, I think that's what Michelle was saying. Any takers? Anybody else want to jump in and explain that? L Boogie said, my tinfoil hat is tingling. Ting-a-ling-a-ling, school bell ring, knife and fork to 5 for dumpling. I think Michelle, totally new dude. Their basketball circle is way too small to not be familiar. Probably why it's easy to go DM fishing during COVID-19. I do think they were in the same circles. I do think they probably knew about each other. I do think that she was attracted to him and reached out and wanted to get to know him more. And at that time, he was not available. But I think that's the majority of them knowing each other. I just think they just have great chemistry. Megan Blackwell said, this Michelle Joe timeline is not making sense and it's confusing to me. The math ain't math. And I honestly think Michelle had a crush, and I think that Joe is that guy that everybody crushes on. And I think she shooted her shot. And it didn't work. And it didn't work. But now that he's on her show, she gets to have the dude that it's loving basketball all over again, guys. Joe and Michelle are loving basketball all over again. She was playing for his heart on Monday night's episode. That's what I think is going on, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. That Allison said, makes me certain something else that's going on. For real. I've gone on dates with people who I absolutely don't remember. Yeah, and I think it's worse when they remember you and you don't remember them. I think I got another super chat. I got So Steph's super chat. I think I got another one, right? Hey, Tashi. Tashi said, I literally only watched this full show so I can come to this reviews. Thank you so much. I totally appreciate it. Thank you, Tashi. Thank you. Hold on, let me see if the video has loaded. Ready? I think it needs to be, there it is. Oh, child, the hoops that StreamYard makes me jump through. Child, when it's time, when my membership is up. But let me stop talking about them because I feel like they listen. Because every time I complain about them on here, I get an email like, hey, we heard that everything wasn't good. Is everything okay? And I'm like, who told you that? Hey, Virgo, good to see you too. Thanks for being in the room. Thanks for being in the room, guys. Make sure when you come in the room, you come in the room with your likes. What's up, Caitlin? What's up? And if you guys have been Instagramming me, just know I will get to them this weekend. It's just right now, my mind is just consumed with this situation. And as soon as this is done, Nikki is back. Prayerfully, we'll be back to normal by Monday. Hey, Natasha. Natasha said, I really think Michelle was overwhelmed. Sometimes you say things you don't mean. Absolutely. 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 That is one of the first things we're going to talk about. So since Wayo brought this up, she says, they say, please make sure you talk about Katie and Blake and their sham of an engagement. I just want to let you know the order of this review. First, I'm going to talk about Blake and Katie. Then we're going to get into some information that I found that has changed my perception of something that we talked about last week concerning the Bachelorette. And then I'll get into the review. And then I'll wrap us all up because I got some Beverly Hills tea that we need to talk about. So that's going to be a live as well. I'm going to, right after this one, I want to do a housewife live. And it's going to be Beverly Hills, Potomac, and maybe Salt Lake City if we have time. So yeah, definitely going to talk about that. Definitely just want to make sure did it load? Oh, perfect. Still uploading. Still uploading. I know, me too, Irene, me too. Prayerfully, Monday we'll be back to normal. I promise. Oh my God, this is Halloween. I want to do a Halloween live with you guys. I'll be traveling. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. We will see. Yes, that's coming soon. Right now, I'm just looking to rent. Here is why. Buying a home is a huge move, right? Huge move, huge responsibility. Not something that I take lightly. I'm not from here, right? So I don't want to buy a home in an area that I don't know and I'm uncomfortable with the area. I think it's too far because that's something I've been learning, that a lot of stuff that I thought was close is very far, right? I've learned that as soon as I move out here, I'm going to need to get myself a vehicle because like I said before, I'm a city person. So I'm used to stuff being walkable, right? I'm used to walking to Target. I'm also from Philly, so I'm used to, in New York, you guys call them bodegas. We call them poppy stores, corner stores. I'm used to stuff like that. I've come to find out here that doesn't exist, right? So that's another thing that I'm going to have to get used to. So at first, just want to not make a full commitment and, just rent in different areas and see what I like, right? So far, I liked Sandy Springs, but I was only there once. Really like Roswell, but I was only there once. So I don't know what the place is like in the daytime. I don't know what the neighborhoods is like. Is it walkable? So those things I really have to be comfortable with before I make a huge decision like that. Seeing a lot of beautiful homes, not yet ready to buy because the neighborhood is as important as the home. So that's why, but definitely, I know I have some realtors and in the chat, I know I have some realtor subscribers. Definitely, if you're in this location, I would love to link up with you at some point. But right now, I'm just looking to rent. Just looking to rent. Hey, Lauren. Lauren P said, I kind of get that, but it's weird. It's a weird thing to bring up, like right that moment. Why not ask who actually started the rumor? You know what? I feel like she is not allowed to ask that or wasn't released to do that. Guys, because this has happened on every Bachelor and Bachelorette show. Somebody says, oh, so-and-so said something, and they never get to the bottom of it, right? And I think they never get to the bottom of it because that is a storyline that they do not want, that the producers just do not want to be dismantled so early because that's content. So I think she wasn't released to ask who started the rumor, because in reality, I think, an adult would be like, who said it? If you can't tell me, I'm going to go confront and ask everybody who said it so we can have the conversation, which is why I feel like somebody like Claire why her Bachelorette season was cut short. I don't think it's just because of Dale. I also think that Claire doesn't play by the rules, right? That Claire, that was Claire's show, and this is how she was going to do it. Because I feel like if Claire was in that situation, Claire would have been like, oh, the men think this? Well, let's go fix it. Hi, who said this about me? No, I want to hear it now. I feel like Claire would have done that, right? You can't control Claire. Michelle, I think, can be controlled. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just talent that is workable, right? You can work with this kind of talent. So I think that's what it is. Because it just doesn't make sense not to ask. I get you, Lauren. It doesn't make sense not to ask. But I think in the context of this show, she wasn't released to or encouraged not to. I got a super chat. Let me get this super chat and then we'll get into the live. Really Court now said, hey, Nikki, Deb here. Jamie can go to hell and same for Peter. By the way, not surprised Blake and Katie broke up. Guess he misses Miss Tay-Tay, please. He'll be on to another contestant for the Bachelorette. Trust. He'll be on Paradise. Blake not leaving this reality TV show check for nobody. Please believe it. Let me get into it. Oh, and for some reason, I cannot find. I told you my sister does not do cable. She has like streaming services. So for some reason, I cannot find Love After Lockup. So I have to watch it on YouTube. I think it comes on YouTube later on Friday. So I'll do my Love After Lockup. Friday, I'm going to do a Love After Lockup review for the last week's Love After Lockup. But Saturday afternoon, I'm going to do a review for the latest Love After Lockup, just because I cannot find it on the streaming service anywhere. So I have to watch it on YouTube when somebody illegally uploads it. Life of a reviewer. So let's get into Katie. Oh, really caught now? Thank you so much for the super chat. Let's get into Katie and Blake. Break it up. Katie says, it is with mutual love and respect that we have decided to go our separate ways. We are so grateful for the moments we share together and the entire journey that has unfolded this year. But we ultimately have concluded that we are not compatible as life partners. And it is the most caring choice for both of us to move forward independently. We ask for kindness and privacy as we both navigate this transition. Both of us will forever want the best of one another and ask you to please support us in our decision. Bam. So I'll give my thoughts on this, right? And let me tell you something. I do these reviews and I always tell you guys, and I'm very open and honest about the fact that the only reason why I feel comfortable talking about these TV shows in depth the way I do is because it's just that, right? It's a TV show. Nobody comes on TV not wanting to be there, right? I know a lot of people leave these shows and says, oh, it was manipulation. They manipulated the edit and it's this, right? This is not 2004. When you go on reality TV, you know what it is. Everybody is on board with it. I work in TV. You cannot be manipulated into doing something you don't want to do. Or if you don't want to do it, some people accept or do those things for a certain price. And if it's not the money, it's the fame and the opportunities that come with it. So I thoroughly believe, even in reality TV show, even if something really happens, right? Even if a relationship actually does come from this, I honestly believe these people are getting on TV and playing a character, because there's no way that you are getting on television and you are not aware of the cameras. You are not aware of how certain things look, right? That's why a lot of times when you watch these people on TV and then something comes out about them, that they're racist or they're misogynist, or, you know, they like and say certain things that you would have never thought this character would, because that person is aware that they are on TV and they want to present a likable person so that you can continue to support them in their endeavors on and off the show. Everybody is aware that the camera is there and everybody is playing a part for the show, for the contract, for the money, for the fame, and for the opportunities that can come from it. So I honestly don't believe that I am speaking about the person behind the character. I'm speaking on the character that this person is putting on for TV, which is why I can honestly say this. I never believed Katie and Blake for 1 second. 1 second. I think finding uh I'm not saying that you can't find the love of your life on TV, right? Oh my God. Is this US dollars? Is this US dollars, NTR? You know, NTR, where you work? Sis, sign me up. Thank you so much for the super chat. NTR, just bust your sis with a $75 super chat. Let's go. She said, this is for the application fund. Thank you so much. You must know that the applications, the payments for applications out here in ATL is ridiculous. They don't even charge that much in LA. I'm like, they got a scamming problem. I will say that there's a huge scamming problem out here because there's a lot of proving your identity before you can even tour a property. What is going on in Atlanta? Ciao. Anyway, thank you, NTR, because my Fridays needs Nikki Love at the Lockup Reviews. Philo carries. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the application. Let me correct this. This is Philo. It's an app. Philo app fun, because my Fridays need Nikki's Love at the Lockup Reviews. Philo carries WeTV and doesn't have a contract. Thank you. Is it Philo or Philo? Whatever it is. Thank you so much, NTR. Thank you, my love. That's US dollars. Thank you, NTR. Thank you so much. I will look into it. But please believe wherever I live, I'm getting cable. Because if you just think about it, all these freaking streaming services, when you look at how much you're paying for the stuff, it's cable. Like, you're paying the same price as cable. So I'm going to keep my cable. But yeah, Love at the Lockup just for this week will be on Saturday, right after Just Call Me Why, because we're not interfering with her time. But yes, yes. So back to Katie and Blake. I just never believed it. I don't believe these relationships on this show now. Like Trista and Ryan set the bar, right? The bar was raised. There was a standard, but that was a different time, right? Now these people are younger and wiser, and they know what they can get from this show. Like, a lot of these people are being plucked out of obscurity, plucked out of their receptionist jobs, their security jobs, their parents' basements, their Wendy's shift manager jobs. Like, they are being plucked out of those jobs, put on national TV, and they have an opportunity to either go back to being a shift manager at Wendy's or sitting on Instagram selling teeth whitener for up to $1 million. What would you do? So I think a lot of people who come on these shows are saying, I'm looking for my person, I'm looking for the one, are actually looking for great opportunities, which is why these relationships never last, which is why they do the whole, giving us those cute little videos of them watching shows, or giving us, collective Instagram posts about their love, and taking all of these interviews. And then, after the fan base has moved on to another bachelor or another bachelorette, releasing a statement at the end of the night or the middle of the day, just so the word can get out there. And that ends that sham of a relationship that won't really call it a sham, but it was not going to marriage. I do not think these people come on this show looking for marriage. I think if anything, they either leave with a really good friend or maybe a boyfriend for a season, a boyfriend or a girlfriend for a season. But I don't believe that all of these people go on this show looking for just that. I think they all go on this show looking for a great opportunity, which it is, which is why I'm not saying that anybody shouldn't come on here looking for that. If this show can get you out of a bad situation or a mundane situation or a situation you'd rather not be in, do it, right? I can honestly watch this show with a clear head and clear eyes and know that you're putting on for us. You're giving us a show, and I don't expect to see anybody walking down the aisle or pregnant. Like, I don't believe it. So I never believed Katie and Blake. I never believed, sorry, Katie, that she was looking for a husband when she came on this show. I think this was a great opportunity to be the Bachelorette, right? Look at her Instagram followers, right? So she doesn't ever have to work again because people are going to send her stuff. People are going to pay her to, hawk their products to her followers. Like, her life has changed significantly, and all she had to do was fabricate that she wanted to get a husband off of this TV show. Now, if she found a great guy, if she was able to actually get a husband that she will eventually marry 2 or 3 years down the line, good for her. But I don't believe that she went on that show for that. I don't believe Blake went on that show for that. I think they both went on the show for opportunities. I think they both were talking before this show started. And I think we all kind of knew, or they, went into this knowing that this is where we'll be at the end. And I think it's very smart to link up with somebody who wants the same things out of this show that you do. So that when it's all said and done, when it ends amicably. You guys are able to move forward, and you guys are able to promote yourselves to a better financial status, a greater tax bracket, and a much better life than what you came on with when you started this show. Never believed it, not surprised, actually shocked that it happened this fast. I thought maybe around Christmas time they would, give us that, because that would be a smart time to let people know that your relationship isn't working out, because at this point people are consumed with the holidays. They don't really care. They're knee deep into another Bachelorette. That would have been a better time, but they did it when they did it, I guess because we might see one of them out with somebody new. And so they were probably just like, so they were probably like, you know what? Let's just get this out of the bag so we can move on to greener pastures. But never believed it. Always thought it was for the TV show. And congrats to them, right? Because they're much better off than when they started on this show. So listen, scam away. Do what you need to do. I'm not hating on anybody getting a bag, especially another woman. But I never believed this. Never believed it for 1 second. Mama's not shocked. Hold on. I think I got another super chat. Hey, Caitlin. Thank you, Caitlin. Caitlin said, so apparently there's another I know, I heard that. There's another Bachelor season after Clayton's. If it's not Hot Dad or Mike Johnson, I don't want it. Thank you so much for the super chat, Caitlin. I don't want it, period. I think we need a break. I don't know why this show is going the Married at First Sight route, but it's not working for me. To be consumed right after we have just finished another season, give us a break. Like, at least give us the holidays to recoup and then go into the new year for another show. You guys are giving us The Bachelor right after The Bachelorette. You just given us The Bachelorette right after another Bachelorette. Allow us to heal. Allow us to take a break. Allow us to miss you. We're just going to have Bachelorette, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise. No, it's going to be Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, Bachelorette, Bachelor, Bachelor. Then Bachelor in Paradise again. Like, it's confusing. Y'all need to find a system that works. And I think your former system works. I don't know why getting rid of Chris Harrison made this show go haywire. I don't know what's happening over there, but God, bring him on as a silent consultant. I don't know, but something is going on over there. I don't know who suggested another Bachelor after Clayton. Maybe you guys felt like we wouldn't like Clayton. Maybe his season is boring, right? And maybe you're just like, we don't want to lose them, so let's throw out this. I don't know. I don't know why they're making the decisions that they're making. It's pretty weird to me. It's pretty weird to me. And it already seems very exhausting. Very exhausting. So I wouldn't recommend it, but it's their show. Let them do what they want to do. Thanks again, Caitlin. AJ said, I heard she's currently doing her master's as well. So who knows? Who? Are we talking about Katie? MC said, I think they go for opportunity, but love can be found everywhere. And for some, it works. We have seen it. I didn't watch Katie's season, so I don't know how they are. Yeah, I didn't believe it. Like I said before, a lot of these people come on these shows for opportunities, for attention, right? And sometimes they find love on the show. Like Ari. Ari was able to find love with not the woman he proposed to, but the other woman. Good for him. Like, it happens. People find love within Bachelor Nation. It happens. I'm just saying, for right now, where this show is, the demographics that they are casting out of, I don't think that these people are looking for marriage. I don't think that they're coming on the show looking for marriage. I think in order to get results, they're going to have to stick with geriatric millennial leads. That's just what it is, because you get results from geriatric millennials. Picking 23-year-olds, no shade, you're not going to get somebody who's ready to be married. Now, are we picking 23-year-old Mormons, right? Are we picking 23-year-old evangelicals? That's a different story, because y'all thought y'all was picking the evangelical with Hannah, and no shade, but y'all got a holy hoe. So you have to be clear about how you are casting. And if they keep on casting young, we're just not going to get the results. There's always going to be somebody on here saying, I got to get to 1 million Instagram subscribers. I got to start my beauty YouTube channel. As they should. Like, somebody early 20s should be thinking about that, right? You should not be thinking about getting knocked up by some dude and being somebody's wife. Not at 23. That's just me. I could, that doesn't have to be for everybody else, but like, you're not going to get results. If you pick somebody who's, looking at 40, you're going to get results. But I don't think they're going to do that all the time. So, but love can be found. Absolutely. Hey, Melissa. Melissa said, I have a bad feeling Michelle would be heartbroken at the end of this season and she'll end up picking her second choice because Joe won't commit. She'll end up like Katie. I happen to agree. Now, do I think that Michelle is looking for a husband on this show? No. I think that Michelle is looking for a boyfriend, right? Somebody who she can go through this journey with and have a good time. I don't think she's trying to get married at the end of this. And I honestly don't blame her. Who can get married at the end of this process? It's not realistic. It's just not realistic. You got to be with this person for a bit more. Live with them outside of the show and see what's happening with them, to see if this is something that you want. Check out their bloodline, right? Check out their finances. Like, let's be realistic. Finding love within the show is not realistic, right? Finding a husband, not love, but finding a husband or a wife within the time constraints and, the exploitation of the show, it's just not realistic. But I think you can find somebody. I don't think that Michelle is going to find her husband on the show. I don't think she's going to find her boyfriend. I think she's going to find a nice opportunist, and the one who I think she wants is going to get away. The one who will probably be a good fit for her is going to be the one that got away. And that's unfortunate. I hope we're both wrong. I hope we're both wrong. AK said, loving Michelle as the Bachelorette so far. Me too. I liked her more this episode, as she's starting to not become my favorite yet, because I don't feel like anybody can be clear for me. But she's getting up there. She's everything and more. Matt must be kicking himself. AK, get out of my head. I was watching this episode and I was just like, Matt, you lost a good one. You lost a good one. But you listen, he seems to be really happy with Sundown Town Rachel. The weakest links. Muna, hey. Muna said, it's crazy how you've lived in all major cities in the U.S., like New York City, LA, Philly, and now ATL. It is. Well, but that's my family. My family, we're travelers. We are travelers. We are all over. All over. Who knows if I'm even going to stay in here that long? Like, who knows? But thank you. Thank you. Well, the super chat, but thank you so much. I'm trying. Yolande said, do you think they will pull a Rachel, Peter, and Brian, show us with Michelle and Joe, but Nate is the one? I don't know. And guys, I don't believe it's Nate. I know that Reality Steve guy said that, but he was wrong last season. He was wrong. Right. And then he fixed it in the end. He was like, oh, no, actually, I got some bad information. This is the truth. And at the end, when it's two bachelors to pick from, he says, oh, it's going to be him. So I don't know. It could be Joe. I think Joe is going to be the one that would get away with Sola. Here is why. Him and Michelle have great chemistry. However, this is a setup my grandmother said no woman should be in because it will not work. Michelle is, from what I've seen, I could be wrong, but Michelle is, I feel like she's more into Joe than Joe is into her. And I don't think that's a good combination for any woman. I just don't. I just don't, Pasola. I think she is more into him than he is into her. Hey, Busy, what's up, boo? Said not a holy hoe. Remember, they cast her as this evangelical queen, and Hannah got into that mansion and started banging each and everything. And that Jesus freak, the crazy one, the crazy Christian, he didn't appreciate that. He was like, "You will not put that unholy body near mine." He got her together. Thank you, Busy. Thank you. I think I got another super chat. Hey, sup, people? What's up, boo? Said just wanted to update you. My friend looked into Temple and got scared out of the Philly trip. LOL. Oh, I'm so sorry. Philly is not bad, but if you are visiting Philadelphia, I don't think you should stay, I just don't think it's wise to stay around Temple. I always say Center City is a good place for you to be. But if you're going to any major city, just stay woke. Thank you, sup people. So sorry. Listen, if y'all decide to ever go again, inbox your girl and I'll tell you where to go. Hey, Caitlin. Caitlin said, I don't know who Michelle picks, but Nate was on Bachelor Happy Hour. The winners are never on the podcast. Thank you so much for the super chat. Who might it be? Lord, please don't let it be Jamie. He's terrible. Now, let me get into this. I've talked about that long enough. Let me see if this video is ready so I can load it. Oh, God. Yes. Yes. So I can. Because what I want to say is this before I load it. When I am presented with new information, I am the kind of person who, once presented with that new information, I will either, continue to stick by my side of the things that I was thinking and double down on that, or I will change my mind. And as Wendy Williams says, get well soon, sis. I'm a woman and I have the right to change my mind. And I was presented with new information concerning the Ryan situation. And I was presented with this information. Thank you to everyone who sent me Caitlin's recap of The Bachelor. She spoke a little bit about it. So give me about 5 minutes of your time because we're going to listen to it. Then we're going to get into this Ryan situation, and then we'll get into the review. Hold on.
Hi, I'm Holly.
Hi,
Holly. Are you Latoya?
No, I'm her sister.
Okay, hey, so she wanted an ironing board. I'm dropping them off.
Oh my gosh, really? Okay. She never told me. Thank you.
Sure. I think there was a steamer in there, but she had asked for this, so
Okay.
I'm dropping that off. And I'll come back. I was going to get the covers off the cushions and take them to get steam cleaned or dry cleaned, but I'll just do that.
Well, she'll be here in like an hour or two.
I can just come back on Monday so the couch isn't all messed up for the weekend or whatever.
I'll let her know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll let her know. Thank you, Holly. Why didn't she tell me somebody was coming over? Child, thought it was the police. Hey. There's always something happening on these lives. Always something happening. All right. Hey! To the new people, welcome. Welcome. Welcome to a NikkiStar TV Live. Bye, Holly. Listen, she is this sweet, tiny white woman. She has a knock. That knock was loud and strong. I did not expect to see that woman at the other side of that door. Oh, Lord. Anyway, what was I talking? Oh, Caitlin. Caitlin, on her podcast, she spoke in depth, like not in depth, but as much as she could, because she said she was under contract, about the Ryan situation. And since presented with that information, I have decided to change my mind on the Ryan situation, and we will get into that. But first, I'm going to let you hear the podcast, about 5 minutes of your time, and then we can move forward. Oh, is it 5 or 15? I'll speed it up. There we go.
I think it said, by the way, because I know in your intro there, you were like, not your typical, I think it said not your typical bachelor. Yeah, it said not your typical bachelor. And then it said,
didn't stand
out. Wasn't a standout.
But that was, in my opinion, there's good ways of standing out and bad ways of standing out.
True.
So I think he meant you didn't stand out in a bad way.
Yeah. We'll take that. We'll go glass half full with that.
Yeah, I mean, look at me.
Who
to emulate from the show? Jason Tartick, not your typical
bachelor, it said.
Oh, it did? It cuts out here. Business as a financial advisor, wasn't a standout on the show.
All right, I got to ask you the $1 million question. I know it's your podcast.
What?
But it's a question. So a lot of my buddies actually watched it last night. They were dying laughing. Of course, they're having some fun with it and chirping. But they would also say, hey, at least you're on top of the list of who to emulate. I'm like, okay, take the good with the bad. They all want to know, and I don't know if you could talk about this, but 90% of them think it was planted.
Oh, I know. I saw that all over social media, and I have something to say about that. I actually wanted to talk a lot about that. But wait, what do you mean take good with the bad? I don't take any bad out of that.
Out of that whole thing? Oh, a lot of people are like, yeah, wasn't standout, right? Like, was like kind of like boring, basic, wasn't a noticeable underdog, not your typical bachelor. Like,
I don't think that's bad.
Not like your, doesn't fit the mold type thing. Like,
I don't see that as a bad thing at all.
Oh, well, I love that.
Yeah,
a lot of
I
people
really don't.
were okay. All right, good.
Yeah,
that's nice of you.
I remember reading the documents. I love that we're calling it documents.
The documentation.
I love reading these notes that he had, and when I saw people to emulate Jason Tartick, Zach's name was also on there.
Zach Clark was?
Yeah.
Well, you could see on the list, so it said my name, and then it said you could see, it was like kind of scribbled, it said Mike Johnson, and it said like Mike has a lot of swagger.
Yeah.
And then it said Blake Horseman, but it was just totally fuzzied out, like you could barely see it. But those are the three you could see. So who else was on there?
The only other ones I remember was Zach, and they said people to emulate, and he was on the list.
And then what else was?
We were like, Tage and I were like, we picked two good ones. That people want to be like them.
I think this guy. I mean, like, if I was going to give, sing it, girl. If I was going to give this guy any advice, I would say, get those notes and get them published, because I want to know every word that was on there. So what can you tell us what else was on there?
That would probably go against the contract.
If you told us, or if you published it?
No, if he published it and like tried to make money off of it.
That's true. I'm sure you'd get a little slap on the head.
I should have him on the podcast.
You should absolutely have him on the podcast. What? Tell me more.
Okay, so here's what happened.
I'm not taking over.
First of all, I will say that anyone who knows anything about Bachelor contracts, I don't want to say too much, but there's...
I'll say, because I'm not contracted, I've gotten a cease and desist.
Yeah, I mean... but
when Dean and I talked about like money that we were making, that was against... I didn't know that was against the rules, by the way. It wasn't intentional.
No, but I'm saying there are rules where they can actually check your bags. Producers, people who run the show can check your bags.
Well, yeah, well, they should.
Exactly.
But what if someone they should check your bags. What if you had like a weapon or something?
Or what if you had like a master plan to do like something horrible?
Yeah, or drugs or something. Like every bag should be checked.
Plus they have to, it's actually like contractually obligated for them to
have the right to do that.
Yes. Yeah. And they need to make sure you're not bringing secret phones, like to give spoilers. Like they really have to check.
As they should. I would agree with
this
that.
Was not planned. In fact, I remember a producer saying this shit writes itself, because he cannot deny those documents were there.
Well, that's the thing now I think everyone should know. With social media, every season, we see people are like, I was edited the wrong way, or I'm going to go on this podcast and say everything. He would 100% come forward and be like, I didn't say that. He isn't. I think he actually made fun of himself.
He did. And here's the thing about Ryan. I write everything down. You're a big checklist guy.
Yeah.
You make freaking spreadsheets for everything. And that's what I think he's very much like that. I think he makes spreadsheets. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think he was writing down plans. I don't think that's a bad thing. He was manifesting things, if you will. I don't think that's a bad thing. But what I will completely disagree with was he had his dream women on that sheet, and not one of them looked like Michelle.
Interesting.
He said his celebrity crush was Chrishell.
Chrishell?
Chrishell with if she had a bigger ass.
What?
Yes. So there are other things on there
I
that is why.
Just gonna come in like kind of potentially defend the guy to be like,
No,
well,
and that's
everyone
just the
thinks
start.
about what they want to do, but then if that was on there,
Yeah. That was on there. And other things
so no wonder why.
like he said
Michelle read that and was probably like, F this guy.
Yeah.
Like, you're out of here.
And his ideal woman would have no baggage. Like, who doesn't have baggage?
Wait,
no
what?
anxiety or something. Now, okay, don't take this word for word because I might be wrong. It was something like no baggage. I think it was anxiety. And I said, you're trying to date in 2021 and you want a girl without anxiety. So there were really big red flags.
Male, female, everyone has anxiety.
So a lot of people came after us and were like, that is so disrespectful. You went through their stuff. No, all of those contestants know you have every right to go through their
100%.
stuff. We also didn't go through his stuff. It was right out on the table, opened. We did not go digging in his suitcase bag to find a note or to see, it literally was a red binder, duotang, whatever folder document.
Ooh, I got a question.
It was just sitting on the table.
Okay, I got a question. He said to Michelle that his friend's, I believe he said wife or fiance or girlfriend, his friend's wife, fiance or girlfriend, one of the two, is the one who wrote it.
That's absolute bullshit. I mean, it was...
Is there any, based on someone who's you yourself has read the whole thing, was there any bit of it that could have been her?
No, it was all written in the first person.
Well, could it have been like she was listing? It was actually her that said, like, you
It
would
could
emulate these guys. Here's who
It
they
could
are.
be. But it could be. I would like to hear his explanation because I was so like alarmed by some of the things in there that I would, and if that wasn't him that wrote that, well, then we can have a different conversation. And that's the thing about TV. We only get one side of things. But for me, we get two sides of things, but there's always the other person's side.
Yeah. I remember, I'm kind of embarrassed to even admit this, but the only thing I don't know, like drop of a blood close related to this is I remember when I'm bad with names. So I had a journal and I would write throughout.
My dream girl, she had a bigger ass.
No, I was literally just the name of the people that were left, who got roses and like who that we had. Yeah. Late bloomer went unnoticed.
Well, that's okay. I don't think you went unnoticed.
Thanks, Kate.
I'm not gonna lie, summer definitely took a toll on my hair.
2015. I went on in 2018. We can both speak to the fact that every human that walks there and goes there and packs there knows that their stuff will be searched and gone through before you enter the whole entire show, because for protection of the show, they have to.
Yeah.
And no one ever, I've never heard one person argue it.
No, you can't.
You know that's the case.
It's literally in the contract. So that's the thing. And then also people were like, why would you ruin Michelle's first night and tell her this? So here's the other part of it. Tasha and I went back and forth because we had searched many, many guys' rooms to be a funny bit. It was a funny bit. We were going in. So one guy's room smelled so bad.
What did it smell like?
Well, to give him the benefit of the doubt, it just smelled like bad food. And he maybe just ordered food. There's one guy, there's hair from like shaving his face all over the sink and like toothpaste gunk. And like some of the guys were super clean. Chris G from Canada, his bed was made in his hotel room and everything was like spotless.
Chris G.
Yeah, he was so clean.
Okay.
But with Ryan, we went back and forth with Tasha. We were like, should we tell her right off the bat? Do we let her see if there's even a connection? Because maybe there's not and she'll just be like, nah, this guy, blah, blah, blah. We had noticed this document before we even like started the whole first night. So we had gone back and forth so many times because we didn't want to ruin her first night, but we also are there to protect her feelings We also want her to have her own journey and figure out her villains for herself. Maybe she likes someone. But when we were really thinking about it, saying this guy's dream girl looks nothing like her, he was using derogatory terms like, I wish he had a bigger ass. We were like, uh-oh, I think she actually likes him. We should tell her so she can see those documents for herself and then move on. If we see a lot of the villain stuff, it's usually when we're watching back or when she's already sent someone home and then we meet up with her and she tells us. That we saw with our own eyes. We wanted to let her know. She's glad we let her know. So everyone else that's upset about it, don't be upset because Michelle was glad.
Yeah, and I think, listen, we live in 2021. You analyze you as Tayshia as hosts. You and Tayshia aren't there as hosts because you're these differentiating professional television hosts who have been doing it for 20 years. What differentiates you guys is that you guys have been there. That is what's so unique about you two doing it. You've been in her shoes. You have seen really bad situations. You've seen good situations. And while you are hosting the show, you're also looking out. You're an extension of her to look out for her best interest.
Yeah.
And so given the role and differentiated factor you guys have brought to the show, which has been so much fun to watch because it's something we haven't seen yet, is exactly that. How could you see that and read that, knowing your role and knowing that you've been in her shoes and not tell her that? You have to. You have no choice, in my opinion. I think the other second thing that's interesting is when I was in that position, I could never get comfortable in those rooms because every now and then there'd be a producer not
Think that until other people started saying it, and then they're like, come on, why wouldn't he? And I was like, actually, yeah. My question is not if he will go or not. My question is, will he be the guy that gets a redemption? Because he's a good looking guy.
You saw what Ryan did. You saw what he went through. Will we see Ryan on Bachelor in Paradise?
Absolutely.
Really?
I didn't think that until other people started saying it, and then they're like, come on, why wouldn't he? And I was like, actually, yeah. My question is not if he will go or not. My question is, will he be the guy that gets a redemption? Because he's a good looking guy.
Very good looking.
Yeah.
You think he'll get a redemption?
I don't. That's my question. Because you know how some villains get their.
Okay, let's make a bet. It's on audio. We like to keep our things on audio. I'll bet you sushi dinner at Oku, he doesn't go on Paradise this summer.
Really?
I don't think he'll be invited.
That was the gist of it. But what got me right was that Caitlin said he had written derogatory stuff on there and just mentioned the behind, right? When I said last week, I was just like, I need to know, like, why did you guys make that decision, right? Why did you make the decision to tell Michelle about the binder? And hearing that it was a lot of horrible stuff, I still feel like the stuff that Caitlin mentioned was the stuff that we could digest. I think there were things on there that she just did not want to get involved in. I think there were racial things on there. And I think there were probably more ignorant sexual things on there as well. But presented with this information, I've decided to change my opinion on Ryan and basically say that he is basura, right? Because what they showed just wasn't enough for me. I'm like, what did he say? Can we see the binder? Let's read it out loud. Put it on the ABC website so we can look at the binder and see what was on there. But I think if they showed everything that he wrote in there, then the show would take on another responsibility racially, sexually. Like, why would you put a contestant on this show who thinks this way about a certain group of people and women, right? So I think it would have opened up a bigger door to a bigger fiasco for the show. And they just rather cut all of that out and not show us, but we just have to take their word that they got rid of him or exposed him for good reason and not enough to show us what he said or did, because they're going to use somebody like that in Paradise because Ryan wants it. Ryan wants the fame. Ryan wants to be a part of this show. He loves the attention. So they much rather not show us what the horrible things that he wrote than lose such a compliant talent. So presented with that information, I've changed my mind. I also still think that we should see what was in there because I think that they're probably keeping somebody on the show who will be, you know, maybe a good character for them because that's somebody that they can feed stuff, information, and he will do stuff. But I don't think it'll be a safe environment for the people on that list that he wrote derogatory things about or said that he, what weren't you attracted to certain things? Like, what does that mean, right? Because yes, everybody can have a preference, but there's always something behind that preference, good, bad, indifferent, or whatever. But I think I would like to know what was on what was in that binder. A little bit from Caitlin made me, change my mind, but I would still like to know more, because if there's something in there where that shows that this is probably not somebody that Black women should be around, that heavy set women should be around, that opinionated women should be around. I think that that we the viewers should see that, but I think we're not going to see that because this is a talent that they want to use, so they rather protect him than show us the truth. That is my opinion. What do you guys think? And then we'll get into the review. Busola said, damn, Ryan must have really have wrote some horrible stuff in those notes. Yeah, Caitlin kept on alluding to it, but only gave us the stuff about the behind and that all of the women on there look nothing like Michelle. That's all. But she said there was more in there. It was enough for them to, like, it was enough things that they saw in there that they felt like they needed to tell Michelle. So what? Let's get into it. But, because of contract, she can't say what it was. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting, Simone. And it's just the way Caitlin is, giving us the information. After that derogatory was loud. And not just racially. I felt like there was some misogyny in there too. AJ said, I think Jamie's room was the one that smelled bad because there's a TikTok that went viral about his stench. Oh no. I think so too, Sarah. Sarah says she definitely gave us the PG version. I think so too. AK says, I still don't believe that it wasn't a setup. Come on now. Could be. But he still created that binder. And if that binder was enough to get him off the show, then we need to see it. Cameron said, tell me what once we touch on Jamie. Because I have, we're about to get into Jamie. Miss Brown Sugar said, and I thought homeboy needed to be cut on the strength of being dumb enough to be sloppy and get caught. And very glad that Keisha told Michelle early because producers would have used him for weeks. I feel that way too, Miss Brown Sugar. Tahara said, I wonder if Michelle read the derogatory stuff. Probably. I think she was a little too easy on him. Probably. And we probably didn't get that because I think that that's a talent that they want to use. So they want to get him off the show because Michelle and the ladies didn't feel comfortable with him staying on the show, but not burn him so that the audience would not want him to come on Paradise. I'm telling you, when you work in reality TV, people like Ryan are the best because they are compliant. They are complicit. They will work with you because they want to be on this show so badly. They'll go with any storyline you give them. MC said, even if it is a setup, I doubt they wrote what's inside. Exactly. That's on him. And the problem I have is the content, not something is written. Okay. Ordered steps. Say, so glad you're here. James said, when was the last time the word light skin was uttered on ABC? I don't think it was ever uttered. Oh, Virgo, we're going to get into that in the next live. The next live is going to be all housewives. So we're going to get into that in the next live. I'll probably do that one at about 7:30. Anyway, let's get into the review of The Bachelorette. I love Michelle and Tay-Tay's energy together. I still like Caitlin as a host as well. But there was this moment that Michelle and Tay-Tay had. I think they were in her room and they were on the couch. And it just seemed like two giddy girlfriends talking about one of the other's like crush. And it was just, I felt like it was such a cute, but like relatable girl moment. And I just loved it. I love their energy. Tay Tay is turning into a really good host. A really, really good host. I like her. I like her on this show. I don't know. I just like how she talks to the Bachelorette, how she leads out. I feel like Caitlyn is being underused. Do we know why? Do we know why? Or maybe because Tay Tay is a biracial brown woman as well. Maybe they feel like when it's deeper, intimate moments that Michelle will lighten up, open up to her a bit more. I don't know, but I feel like Caitlyn is being underused. And I feel like we might have an American Idol situation with the host. Remember, some of you babies only remember Ryan Seacrest, but baby, there were two hosts. Oh, child. They need to figure out a way for both of them to work. They really, really do. The first group date, are you smarter than a fifth grader? Let me tell you, I would have failed this group date. I can tell you that right now. I'm just like, I'm not smarter than a fifth grader. So we don't even have to have this conversation. I am not smarter than a fifth grader. They are smarter than me. I told you, I tried to help my best friend's daughter with her schoolwork. And I was like, yeah, Nikki can't do this one. Aunt Sparkle can't help you with this. I would have failed. And I was such a smart kid. It's weird because it seems like as soon as I got out of high school, I forgot everything. I told you I was A+ student in Spanish. Like I was even tutoring Puerto Rican kids who couldn't speak Spanish. That was me. And I can't remember any of it. I studied Latin, can't remember any of it. For some reason, I remember everything from college, and that was the most traumatic learning years of my life. But I remember nothing from high school, and that was the best years of my educational life. I hate that, man. But yeah, I would have failed this date. Kids are a great judge of character, so I'm not shocked that none of the children, none of the babies were feeling Peter. Listen, you guys sent me somebody breaks down the political leanings of the contestants on the Bachelor, Bachelorette. I don't really care because I feel like I kind of know, right? Like Peter to me it wasn't a shocker that he's a huge Trump supporter. I wasn't shocked. Just seeing Peter, it's like, Donald Trump has a following of horrible people. So I was not shocked that he was a Trumper, but thank you all for sending me that information on him, but it wasn't a shocker to me. I hope it wasn't a shocker to you, but I, can see why the kids were not feeling Peter because they could just sense that demonic energy seething out of his medium shirt. So, kids are always a good judge of character. So when a child don't like somebody, listen to that baby. And let's get into Little Mama's face when Peter said that he was an entrepreneur. I love this little girl. She has so much personality. She was not impressed. None of the kids were impressed with Peter. But little mama right there, she was not impressed. He was like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. Do you know what that is? She was like, yeah. I would have loved to see the footage of the kids giving Michelle advice on who to pick. Because I feel like, especially those two little girls, I feel like they said something to her and was just like, girl, if I was you, Miss Michelle. No, if they're actors, they call her Michelle. Acting kids swear they're adults. But yeah, that little girl had me in stitches. Now, I will say this about, let me make sure I got his name right. Because I'm still learning these dudes' name. He is the one that looks like Shalimar. Will, okay. Will, I will say this, Will. When Peter comes after you, remember you started this, right? You're not that guy. You're not that guy, Will, and we will see that later in the season. Will's personality is so different than what he looks like and what he shows on YouTube. Because I showed y'all his YouTube page, and he was a totally different guy on there, and now he's a totally different guy on the show. So his look does not represent his personality. He's a sweet, goofy guy. Because when that moment where he was like, did you see his face? It was red like tomatoes. It was. He's a weird, goofy guy, like a fun, sweet, goofy guy. So when he wrote that that Peter was a narcissist, I was just like, Peter's not a good guy. We can tell. You poked this bear. You poked that narcissistic bear. So you need to be ready with what he brings, because you and him had no issue. A lot of the men do not like Peter. They said he takes the energy out of the room. He is not a good person and they don't like being around him. Nobody poked at him, Will. You did. And although Peter will go too far and what he will do to you, we will not like, but we have to be real here. You started this war, right? Let's get into Peter describing what a narcissist is perfectly, saying that he's not that, but then right after making that statement, acting like a narcissist. I'm like, did you not hear what you said? How did you start acting like this right after giving us the description of a narcissist? Baby, it's you. You're the narcissist, Peter. Will was wrong to poke you, but he was telling the truth. And then to be upset because Peter was embarrassed that Will did that in front of Michelle and in front of the children. However, if you were so embarrassed and you didn't like how he made you feel in front of Michelle, why have a screaming match with him where Michelle can hear? And how delusional are you where you think that you're getting the rose for the night? I couldn't believe that Peter thought that. Peter was just like, Will really messed it up for me. I was doing good with Michelle. He messed up me getting the rose for the night. You thought you were getting a date rose? This man is delusional. This man is absolutely delusional. I got to be honest here. I think that Peter was cast as the villain. I do not think Peter was cast, because I've worked in casting as well. You know what people are bringing to your show. You know what you're looking for. You know when you have slots to fill. You know as soon as a person opens their mouth where, if they're castable, where you would put them, right? There's no way that I believe that casting sat down with Peter in the casting room and thought this would be a great husband for Michelle. I think he was cast on the show to be the villain. I don't think he knows that. I think maybe when he ends up on Paradise with Will, he'll figure that out. But I don't think that he went into the show knowing that he was going to be cast as the villain. I think he thinks that he has a shot with Michelle. I think he really likes her. But I have to be honest, just from the little bit of knowledge that I have about TV and casting, I don't think that he was cast to be a suitor for Michelle. He was absolutely cast to be the villain on this show. I don't think that Michelle is attracted to him. I don't think that Michelle sees a future. And I think the only reason why she kept him over my baby Pardeep was because the show encouraged her to do that. Because I listened to a podcast a while ago, maybe about a year ago, with Rachel, and she spoke about the process, the rose process. And she was saying that she has a huge input on who stays and on who goes. But she says, I have to be honest with you. There are people the producers encourage me to keep or cut. And I think Peter was encouraged by the producers to be kept by Michelle along with Will because of the drama and the content that they will give them for the next few episodes until Michelle gets annoyed enough and cuts one or both on a double date. Jamie gets a one-on-one. And all of a sudden he turns into the Bachelor. Jamie does a lot of talking behind Michelle's back. He does a lot of talking behind Michelle's back because he gets the one-on-one and he's talking to the guys. He's like, yeah, this is really great for me because I need to know if she's right for me. I mean, I travel at the drop of a dime to third world countries. You know what I mean? Is that something that she can handle? Is she a good fit for me? All of a sudden, you're the Bachelor. Since when? That's why you look a hard 32. A hard 32, because you got a messed up soul. You have a messed up soul, Jamie. This whole episode, you just lied and manipulated, and we're okay with it. You were okay with the way you twisted people's words, the way you made Michelle feel small, and you were okay with it. You talk a lot behind people's backs. And for some reason, you think that this will not be kept in the show. How do you not know that everything you say and do is not going to be on the show, especially when you're contradicting yourself? How do you not know that? And if you don't know that, then that lets me know that you are like this in real life. Just two-faced, conniving, manipulative, ugly, ugly inside. Ugly. We're not going to get into that sideshow Bob here, but what a terrible way to be, right? So he's saying all this to the men, right? Yeah, I can't wait to sit down and talk to her and see if she's a good fit for me. He goes on a one-on-one date with Michelle, does not say any of the things that he said to the men that he's going to say to her. Does not say anything. He does open up and share his story with her. And I think that's great, right? I love when a man is being vulnerable. I thought that was great, but I was still waiting for you to ask Michelle if she was right for you. I was still waiting for you to be like, I travel to third world countries at the drop of a dime. Can you handle that? Are you a good fit for that? You didn't say any of that. You were real quiet. You were real quiet when you were hiking, and you were real quiet at that dinner. You ain't say none of that. You talked about your life. Thank you very much. You let us in, but you didn't say none of that to Michelle. I wonder why. You had all that mouth with the men. None of that with Michelle. This is why you can never trust a man who looks like if Shamar Moore and Scar from Pride Rock had a baby. Can't trust him. Can't trust him. He got scars, eyebrows, and everything. You should have known then, Michelle. You should have known. Caroline, the girl, was it a banjo? The girl with the guitar who got a banjo voice. Listen, mother was singing. I wait for you. It's this girl that was on The Bachelorette. She was singing, right? Time again, will be in mine. She was singing. I will give her that. But Bachelorette. If you have Black leads, give us Black talent. Give us Black entertainers on this show. Because again, where was Jodeci? They're not busy. Jodeci could have been there singing, would you believe in love, and all of that. They could have been right there. But y'all gonna give us Caroline with the banjo voice. Listen, Caroline was singing down, okay? Miss Puss in Boots was giving it. But like, these are two melanated people. They couldn't have got melanated entertainers. Like, come on. Are we always? She was singing down. I won't wait for you. Y'all could give us somebody. Doja Cat don't ever miss a check. Where was she? Congrats, Caroline. You were singing down, girl. Singing down. I just felt like that was a slot that could have been, filled by a melanated person. That's all I'll say. The Love and Basketball group date. Nate, you are 10 feet tall. How are you missing baskets? Nate can't play basketball. I don't want to say the height is wasted, but what are you doing all the way up there? All Nate had to do was just literally take the basketball and just put it right there. How are you? Okay. All right. You got that big height and you missing baskets. All right. Joe and Michelle on this Love and Basketball group date. I love him for her. She does too. A little too much, right? And I think that's going to be the problem. Mr. Minnesota and Mrs. Minnesota runner-up basketball kings and queens. I mean, who wouldn't want that, right? Can you imagine their love story? They are literally loving basketball, guys. Joe and Michelle are the literal embodiment of love and basketball. I love them together. I thought this sweet moment with Joe when when he lost his basketball coach, and how he told Michelle when they had a little sit down that he thanked her for bringing him on this date, even though his team lost. He thanked her for bringing him because this lifted his spirits. He was like, I was feeling really bad, but I thank you for this date because that just made me feel a lot better and brought some joy into my day. And they just had this sweet moment. I like them too. I like them too. I'm sorry. I like Joe and Michelle together because she really, really likes him, guys. She really, really does. And Joe, I don't think you like her as much as she likes you. And that is the only thing that bothers me. That is the only thing that bothers me. And if she doesn't end up picking him, I'm hoping, just like Love and Basketball, they can find their way back to each other because I like them. I like them together. It is what it is. I don't care. I love Joe and Michelle. Joe, please don't ruin this. Please don't ruin this. Hey, Maisie. Maisie said you almost killed Maisie said you almost killed my husband with your description of Carolyn. He laughed so hard he choked on his dinner and I was almost free again. Love you, Nikki. Love you too. Tell your hubby I said hey. She was singing down. She was singing down, but yeah, I like them together. I love them together. I think they're really cute. I want it to work. Who knows? Who knows? I just thought it was really sweet. I thought it was really sweet. Let's get into messy Jamie again. I don't know why he's so messy and delusional. I just don't know why. I wish, the way they presented Michelle with the information about Ryan, I wish they would have presented her the same information about Jamie, because there's ways to do it. But again, I think he was kept because he's a messy person. But I wish he would have been able to take that rose back. He's terrible. Jamie is horrible. And this is no editing. This is no producers interfering and making him this. I honestly think that he was cast. They thought that he was going to be a good guy. And Jamie just turned out to be a terrible person, because first of all, he went throughout the whole mansion during a cocktail party sharing this rumor of his friend seeing Michelle. I'm gonna be real, I don't believe that. I don't believe that a friend contacted him and said that they saw Michelle out with a light-skinned baller. Jamie, you don't strike me as the kind of man that has friends that says the word light skin. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It was a lie. It was a lie that Jamie made up, and he spread that throughout the whole show, whole show. I love the fact that the men were like, okay, like, we don't care. We're here now. We're trying to, see her. I will say that Martin, who I feel like is, no shade, I think he's hotter on Instagram. I don't know why he's not coming off hot on this show, but he is hot on that Instagram. But on the show, I don't know what's going on, Martin. Anyway, he was a little jealous, and it seems like a few of the men are, about Joe's connection with Michelle, because they spent a lot of time during the cocktail party chatting, right? So he was feeling some sort of way, but he wasn't feeling some sort of way to like sabotage Joe or talk down about Michelle. He just said that Joe was a silent assassin because he's quiet, but he has a lot of leeway with Michelle. And a couple of other guys agreed, but none of them were mad at Joe. None of them wanted to take Joe down. None of them wanted to destroy Michelle. But the one who got a one-on-one date, who she made out with, who she gave a rose to, wants to destroy her for some reason. Then he sits down, pulls Michelle aside, already has a rose. You don't need to talk to her, but he pulls her aside, tells her that the men in the house are, not trusting her and saying that she knew Joe before this, and that his friend told him that she was dating some light-skinned baller before the show. So now Michelle feels bad. She starts to cry. She goes and tells the men, and And I will say, she gave them an opportunity. She said, if anybody has any questions, if anybody wants to know, this is what it is. Me and Joe, we laugh about it now. I DM'd him 2 things. He did not respond to me. He ghosted me. We joke about it now. That's it. That's all I have, done with Joe. If you guys have any questions, let's say something. Nobody says anything. She says the floor is open. You guys can speak. Again, nobody says anything. The girl feels dumb and discouraged. She walks away and probably goes up the stairs and cries. And then Tay and KK, Caitlin, they come downstairs and they say, well, she's so emotionally distraught. We're just going to go into the rose ceremony. And the guys who could be on the chopping block do nothing. They just sit there and they're like, okay. And then when KK and Tay leave, they're like, oh no, we could go home. Why didn't y'all say anything? I would have been like, excuse me. Nobody said that. That was all Jamie. He don't like you, girl. Like, well, if I was a man, I would have said it differently. But I'm like, why? I don't know why nobody said anything. And again, I think that Michelle, it would have made sense for her to ask who said that. But I think within the constraints of the show, she wasn't given liberty to do that. But the men could have said something. They could have defended themselves. I'm like, you're going right to a rose ceremony. You could be going home. Why won't you guys say anything? But they didn't. And my baby Pardeep, he was so heartbroken. I felt so bad for him. He ends up getting cut. Then you are such a disappointment. This is the problem with fine people. I'm speaking of myself. I've learned this. You don't put in the work because you just think you're cute. You do not put in the work. Like, there was no reason for you to get cut on night 2. Like, you never pulled Michelle aside. You never flirted with her. You never made yourself a person of interest on the show. And then when she cut you, the way you hugged her. Listen, I will give you that, PJ. You are an attractive man. Looks fade, especially when you have no personality. You can still be young, plump, and fine. If you have no personality, we're checked out. We're checked out. You didn't bring anything to the table. And I really thought you would have went far because you're a very attractive guy. Cues. They don't feel like they have to do anything because of this. You got to put in work too. You, just as much as them Kappas, you got to put in work as well. But he goes, my baby Pardeep goes, who else got cut? Such a sweetie. He's going to do so great in paradise. I want you to find love in paradise, Pardeep. You deserve. Did y'all see his face? He was so hurt. Me too. Rodney is still there. Rodney's a nice guy, but Michelle, what? Ciao. Peter is there just because of his drama with Will. I think that Peter and Will would have went home had it not been for their drama. Still in utter disappointment. In utter disappointment. He was kept because he's Hollywood royalty. I want to see more of this one. Didn't he look great at the cocktail party? We need to hear your voice, Leroy. We need to hear your, and what a name, Leroy. He does not look like a Leroy. Anyway, but they, my baby Pardeep goes home, and Peter and Will are still there. Messy Jamie is still there. Did you see Jamie going around talking to everybody about who spread the rumor? He's like, yeah, who would have said that? That guy. It's you. I'm telling you right now, Jamie, the men are going to drag you for filth on the Men Tell All, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. What do you guys think? Let's get into it. I got a super chat. Hey, Caitlin. Caitlin said, Becca from Chatty Broads said on her podcast that she has a friend that saw Michelle out with a guy before the season filmed. Jamie effed up, but he told the truth in that regard. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for the super chat. Now, Caitlin, was it Jamie's friend Or did Jamie hear that? And instead of saying, well, I heard on a podcast that you was dating somebody before the show, he's still lying. He's still lying. Now, the story may be true, but again, it could just be Michelle's being like, I was out with somebody who happened to be brown, and everybody thought that it was a guy I was dating. Because at the end of the day, saying that you saw her with a light-skinned baller and assuming it's Joe, I mean, I can see how you could reach there, but I can also see how, as a Black, it would get on your nerves because there is this, I forget what it's called scientifically, but there's been a study that says that non-Black people, especially white people, don't see Black people like they can't see us. So when white people say they don't see color, I don't believe that. But when white people say they don't see, if they say we don't see features, now that I will believe, because you have no idea how many other Black women I have been mistaken for, and we look nothing like. We look nothing like it at all. It has always come from a white person. We look nothing alike, but they will say, "Oh my goodness, Shantae," and I'm like, "No, it's Nikki, not Shantae. Shantae is 6'7" and 342 pounds. There's no way that you thought that I was Shantae. She also, doesn't have a leg. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make it somebody so different than what I am. Or, Brenda. Y'all called me Brenda. Brenda is light skinned. She's a size 2 and she's 4 feet tall. I'm not Brenda. But because they see something brown, they'll associate the brown skin with the voice, with the Negro voice, and think that we're all the same. I forget what it's called, but it was a study put out, and it was called something where they can't see features; they just see melanin and think that we all look alike when we all look so different. But because that culture is not used to, I don't know, seeing us as human, it's it's how you see cattle. You see one cow, you're seeing them all, right? So it's like, oh, cattle, child. Oof. Deep, but true. So I can also see where that could be offensive, thinking that because she was out on a date with somebody light skinned, it had to be Joe. I can see Michelle getting upset about that too, being like, just because I'm out with somebody who has melanin does not mean that it was Joe. I can see her being annoyed by that. And I can also see her being annoyed with people just assuming just because she's with somebody who is brown that she has to be in a relationship with them, that they can't be a friend, they can't be family. But if you see her with somebody who's not Black, you would not think that, because then you start talking about the desirability of, non-white women, like women of color, Black women. I'm saying this because I don't know how Michelle identifies, but then that comes up too. Like, if I'm with somebody who is not Black, why couldn't I be in a relationship with them? Why are you assuming that they don't find me desirable and there's no way I could get somebody of another culture? So that's pretty layered as well. But it also could be true. I don't know, Michelle. I'm trying, girl. I still got your back. Anyway, what do you guys think? Somebody said, listen, I know, but until Clint Eastwood goes on to glory, don't nobody touch LT. Don't nobody touch LT. Bewley by Lily said PJ was on Talking It Out today to talk about tragically losing, but oh my God, he lost both of his brothers? Oh my gosh. And seems like a genuine guy, though, just probably not great for TV. Oh yeah, that could be it. That could be it. I just felt like PJ thought that he would, I just feel like PJ is an attractive man, and I just don't think he works. I don't think he works to get anybody. I think he's very used to being pursued and not pursuing. And it showed. It showed. He said, I hope you find what you're looking for YO said PJ had his ego hurt. Sorry, dude, but put in the work. You're not out on a Friday night at a club in Houston. Yeah, I think he's going to do great in Paradise, though. I think he's going to do great in Paradise. There's going to be so many girls who are going to want to be with him, and he will be pursued, so he will be fine. Hey, Jay Smith. Jay Smith said Jamie looks like a creepy guy you meet on the street, and he just keeps smiling and staring at you with large pupils. Oh my gosh, that was so descriptive. That was so descriptive. Bria, I like Rodney too. But if it were me, I would have kept PJ. I would have kept PJ. Miss Brown Sugar said, I hope PJ has had enough personality to work it on a beach. He's fine. I don't think that you need much. His fashions left much to be desired, but on Paradise, he won't need them. Yeah, PJ is going to get darker on that beach. He's going to be glistening, body like crazy. You know, he'll probably have a bit more knowledge of how to work the cameras. I think he's going to kill on Paradise. It gave this, AK. It gave this. We could be reading too much into it, but it did give this. It did give this. What it's like, you can't get mad at her for cutting you. I'm sorry, any guy that got upset about getting cut that night, except for Pardeep, you have to, you know what, even you too, Pardeep, you got to take that. You have to take that. Michelle gave y'all ample time to speak up. Y'all did not, so you went home. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Miss Brown Sugar said at NikkiStar TV, but can we do a timeline check? Didn't she say the texts were quite a few years? She did. She did. I'm wondering, did she create more distance to play it down? That could be it. That could be it. Or maybe not to play it down, but maybe to not let the guys know that, you know, she was fishing for Fiend during like the Black Lives Matter protests in Minnesota. You know what I mean? Maybe not to seem horrible or thirsty. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Because I'm like, girl, how could you disassociate from what was going on? Y'all remember me? I was still doing these reviews, but I was very honest. I was like, guys, I'm going through it. I may not be able to do this live today. Like, you know what? I'm gonna cancel my lives for the rest of the week. Like, I had to like take time to mentally, check into this. But Michelle was just like, hey, Joe, what's up, Mr. Basketball Minnesota? How you doing? You want to go to Red Lobster? And Joe was like, Black people are dying. That's not funny, but my God. You cannot get mad at him for ghosting you during that time, sis. You just can't. You just can't. I mean, Bria said Nate should have said something. He knew who it was. Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. El Boogie said Jamie originally said it was a light-skinned bald guy, but said light-skinned baller to Michelle. I feel like he was embellishing. I think that, like, just how Caitlin heard, he probably heard it from a podcast or maybe on Reddit and brought it to the show because he keeps on adding more clues that would represent Joe every time he tells the story. Oh, you are going to have a takedown like no other on this show, and it is going to be epic. Epic. Sup, people? Let's talk about it. I expected a Q to be a problem, but he was barely a question. I was shocked. The one-armed hug. You didn't do anything. How are you going to get mad at her? How are you going to get mad at her? Oh, okay. Nas B said Becca did go on to say on the podcast that she did some more checking on Michelle's Instagram, and the guy was a close friend of Michelle's. So there you go. Bria said that reunion better be juicy. Oh, the men tell all is going to be great, especially with the character. You have Peter, Will, Now you're going to have Jamie and all of the men. There seems like there's going to be drama between 2 more guys. Like, it's going to be that reunion is going to be messy. AJ said Michelle's older brother is also light-skinned and a baller. See what I'm saying? See? So you never know. I would love to see just more of PJ. I will also have loved for him to have a one-on-one and speak about, what happened to his brother. PJ. I expected more. Miss Brown Sugar said, Jamie has a lot more going on than or maybe he even realizes. He was way too invested in getting to the bottom of this as if they're in a full-blown relationship already. Jamie is messy. He is messy. He's a messy bee that loves the drama. That's what it is. He likes the drama, and he's a pot stirrer. He would be a great housewife. He would be. No, he would. He would be a great housewife. Andy would love him on them shows. Ashley said same with mixed people. People say I look like Meghan Markle. Don't get me wrong. I would love to, but I don't. We are just both mixed. It's all the same to them. Yeah, it's like, I forget what it's called. If you guys know what it's called, let me know. But it's something where you cannot see the features, but you hear the voice and you see the melanin and you connect that to every person that may resemble that. And for some reason, you just cannot see distinctions. It's very crazy. Robin said, okay, but I can't tell white people apart either. So it's not just them. Yes, though, I've been mistaken for Brenda. Yeah. Oh, that happened to me at every job. It happened to me at every improv school that I ever went to. Like, that's how me and all of the Black girls that I used to take classes at UCB in Second City. That's how I got all of my Black girlfriends, because we would all be like, so-and-so said that I was you. I was like, same girl, so-and-so said that I was you. Like, it happens. That's how we bonded. That is how we bonded. Invisible Hiccup said, I literally walked past my boss once. I waved at him and he walked right past me with no reaction. Did you change your hair? Don't let a sister change her hair. Who are you? Really? You don't know it's me? Really? Oh. Maisie said, my 2 sisters are Black, and I, to this day, cannot believe how many white women have asked if they were twins. They are very different. Yeah. Yep. See, all the sisters are like, this happened to me at work. This used to happen to me at work with my light-skinned friend. I'm deep chocolate. How? I'm telling you, it's voice association and melanin. That's what it is. That's what it is. Oh, Becca G said they call it the other race effect, a cognitive phenomenon that makes it harder for people of one race to readily recognize or identify individuals of another. You know what? That does happen. And thank you for giving me the name of it, Becca. That happens a lot with the Black and the Asian community. Happens a lot with those 2 communities, and I don't know why. I do not know why. MC said, Jamie was honestly so wrong for what he did. He made it sound like everyone is doubting her and questioning her character when it's just him. He knocked her confidence. If it's on purpose, that's scary. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's very scary that it felt like he needed to tear her down for her to be desirable to him. Very weird and extremely uncomfortable. YO said, Becca just did what Michelle talked about. Michelle was with a light-skinned guy, and Becca's already trying to push the narrative that Michelle was being dishonest. Then she looked, and he's a friend. Let me tell you something. Jessica Lee, she became really popular like a decade ago when she did a video, and it was discussing the microaggressions that in comedy that she experienced at work. Like, she worked in a white dominant space, and she was married to a white man. But she was saying, like, she was playing off like she was this white coworker talking to her. And one of the jokes was, I have a great guy for you to meet. You guys will hit it off great. He's black. Like that was what the deciding factor was if she were to like go out with this guy, right? She met this white friend, met a guy, saw that he was black, and that's what she thought would be a great reason to introduce her to him. It's a black guy. Nothing else. Is he nice? Is he, the things that she's attracted to? Like none of that mattered, but he was just black. So of course, he will be perfect for you, right? So that's another thing where it's like it's a black guy. Of course, you want to be with that. Like you would not have any other options outside of that, right? But here she is, married to a whole white dude. We have options, guys. We have options. That's why I feel like a lot of family talk should stay within the living room. I think far too many Black people, especially on Twitter, tell family business. And because of that, people who are not a part of the family make perceptions of us because you are revealing things that are nuanced and, are something that needs to be in a discussion kind of platform, but you're saying it as a Black person. And when it's coming from you, it's considered fact to those who are not of the same culture, complexion. Like, be mindful of that. Have our ancestors taught us nothing? Shh, code it. Speak in Tut and take Tut off of the internet. Anyway, let me get two more and then let me get out of here so I can get ready for Housewives. Brenda said, hola. Today, some lady made a disrespectful comment about Mexicans. Can she not see I'm Latina? Happy to see you. Need a pick-me-up. Happy to see you too, Brenda. Yeah, child. It's a mess. I love her too. She's actually one of the writers on iCarly, which is a show that my friend Lacey is on. Y'all know her as Scam Goddess. But yeah, she's one of the writers on that show. So go support it. Go support it. Some powerful Black women are doing great things on that show. Some people said, I knew this white guy who I had like 5 semesters of class with at the university. Talked to him in classes, turned out to be the same guy in each. Oh my God. So it's not just white people. We all do it. I remember I had like, me and this guy went through college all the way to like the end. I actually ended up graduating early. Highly regret it. I do not recommend taking your senior and junior year in college together. One of the dumbest things I ever did. But anyway, we were really close. Really close. One day in class, he was like, you remind me of, you guys look exactly alike. And I got a little nervous because I really liked him, like friends. Like this was like my really good friend. And I got nervous because I felt like this was going to be the end of our friendship. And it actually was. And I was just like, I don't think I want you to tell me. He was like, no, she's beautiful. And I was like, I know, but he was like, no, let me tell you. I'm like, okay. And he tells me, and he says, Queen Latifah. I said, what? You think I look like Queen Latifah? And he was like, she's beautiful. I said, she is, but you really think that I look like Queen Latifah? Where? But we're both Black. That's all that was needed. That's all that was needed. Our relationship changed so much. I don't even like to this day. And that was like my buddy, my class buddy. We walked to class together. We busted up in class together. Like we saved each other's seats. That after that conversation, I was just like, oh well. We're different. I have different eyes. My nose is different. I have different lips. I'm a lot darker than Queen Latifah. Oh, child. Let me hold on. There was one more comment I wanted to get. Now, Dr. Rim. Look, I recently figured out that Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling were not the same person for some weird reason. I thought they were related to Ben Affleck. Now, wait a minute. I can see it. Now, I can they have the same head. Ryan Gosling, Ryan Reynolds, and Ben Affleck have the same head. And I think what you're seeing is white men with larger heads on like medium bodies. I think that's what you're seeing. But they're so different. I love Ryan Reynolds. I think that he just has Blake Lively in a house cracking up. He also seems to be like a really good guy. Hey, Tracy. Tracy says, shout out to the NikkiStar replay gang. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and share the channel to your social medias. Thank you, family. Thank you. Now, I used to get Maxine Shaw a lot. That was Erica Alexander. I actually auditioned for her one time. And listen, this was back when Mama was like a size 4. But I auditioned for her. And like after the audition, she's just like, you know what you look like? I was like, no. She's like, me. She's like, you look like me. And I was like, oh, that's a huge compliment. Thank you so much. And she's like, yeah. It's like, I've never seen this before. I was like, me either. And that was it. I thought I booked it, but I didn't. I'm like, you went through all that and didn't give me the job. Thanks, sis. Thanks, sis. Nas B said, generally, chatty broads go up for women and try to be mindful and considerate and fair. They'll be more shady to the men, but they usually own their biases and state that they're joking. Yeah, well, they were trying to push that with Michelle. Listen, let's just use this as a teaching moment, right? And I'll just speak for my people. With Black people, please, non-Black people, see color, and see features, right? We all look very different, right? I know, especially with African Americans, we're all over the place. Well, everybody who was, whose slave ship stopped in different places. But, a lot of us have a mixture of cultures within us. Shout out to slavery. But we all look very different. So see our skin, see our features, and let's move forward as a people. We can do it. We can do it. Guys, let me get out of here so I can get ready for the housewives. What time is it now? It's 7:10. I'll probably come on at about 7:40, 7:30. We will get into Potomac, Beverly Hills, and if I have enough time, Salt Lake City. I love you guys. I'll end with Miss Brown Sugar said, on this season, I'm gonna give people a pass for a couple of episodes. There's several white guys with similar face shapes, hair, etc. And the Beige Brigade has some similar features going on too. Yeah, it happens. But see that we are all different and embrace that because it's a beautiful thing to embrace. What you gonna do? I'm speaking English. Shout out to slavery. Anyway, love y'all. Listen, Nas B is getting y'all together. Okay, she said what y'all said happened did not happen. Thank you, Nas. Let's get it together. Of course, in every review, there's a bin hive. You know what? I love y'all. Some comments I cannot hide, but I love y'all. Yes, Par Deep Hive forever. Love y'all. And if y'all interested in the housewives, I'll see you soon. Love you. Bye. Bye.